Okay, so there's been a lot of narrative surrounding the UFC 322's main event, JDM versus Islam. A lot of people saying JDM's going to beat Islam, a lot of people saying otherwise. I'm just going to give my prediction and thoughts and reasoning why I think Islam is going to beat JDM in this fight. So let's get right into the video. First thing I want to discuss the size difference. And for this fight, the main narrative is basically that Islam is too small. JDM's just going to overpower him because of his size, so like this, and that. If we look at their height, Islam's only smaller by 1 inch, which is not bad at all. We've seen bigger differences of other fighters and stuff. And in terms of weight wise, that's the big issue that people are talking about. They're saying Islam's not natural welterweight. He's not gonna be able to compete with JDM because he's not naturally welterweight. Islam's been looking pretty bulky recently. Like, I'm gonna throw this picture up here of him. He looks pretty huge. He looks massive. He says he's been taking creatine too. Islam is gonna be ready, in my opinion. I think Islam's gonna be ready, and he's gonna be conditioned at 170, and he's gonna have the strength to compete with JDM at 170 as well. In terms of their walk around weight, Islam's walking around at 190, which may not seem too crazy, like, oh, okay, 190. But JDM also walks around at 190. So they're practically the same weight outside of camp. And that's the thing that's interesting to me is the fact that Islam put on this weight and he has to cut to 170, which means he's gonna have a lot more. We're gonna see probably the strongest version of Islam we've ever seen. Like, I don't be surprised if he grabs JDM and just tosses him across the octagon or just does some crazy stuff. I think we're gonna see the strongest version of Islam we've ever seen. And JDM might have the slight advantage physically in terms of just like his movement because he's been fighting welterweight his whole career. Like, JDM's not gonna make 155. He's a pretty big dude for welterweight, so I think he'll have better footwork. Other than that, I think him and Islam are gonna have the same frame. They're gonna weigh the same. It's gonna be pretty even weight for both of them, to be honest. A video just released of them doing their first face-off in New York City, and they literally look the exact same size. So everybody's saying that Islam is too small, that he's weak, that JDM is just massive. It's literally an inch difference in size. It's not even that bad. In terms of girth and weight, I think they're gonna be pretty even too. I think Islam's gonna be able to hold his own. So I think in terms of physicality, I think Islam might be able to actually, perhaps in some instances, outdo JDM in terms of strength wise, but in terms of size, it's not that bad. We've seen way worse before. Like when Taporia moved, people were saying the same thing. Yeah, like Charles is too big for him, and he knocked him out. Like, lighter man skill is a thing too. Like, Islam, in terms of the size difference, it really doesn't matter. I think in terms of size, he's gonna do pretty good. There's also a big narrative going around that if Islam can't take JDM down, he's screwed. If he has to strike with him, I disagree with this completely. I think Islam is actually a really underrated striker. I think he's one of the best strikers in lightweight right now before he moved up. And I think one fight people point to try and discredit Islam striking is the Dustin Poirier fight. From the way this fight was described, you'd think Dustin Poirier destroyed Islam and knocked him out, but no, it was pretty dominant by Islam. He was actually outstriking Dustin, who's a great boxer. He was using pull counters, countering with hooks, using uppercuts and double jab crosses. He was outstriking Dustin. And Dustin did give him some trouble. Like, he managed to cut his face open. That's because Islam shot a takedown and Dustin sprawled and hit his head in the mat. Yeah, but Islam outstruck Dustin, and he wasn't struggling that much. In terms of like people that I hate this narrative that Islam was tired during the fight. No, he wasn't. Realistically, he just had some blood in his face. Like, he kept on pushing hard, and he worked until round 5 where he got the submission against Dustin. I gave the entire fight to Islam as it was going on. I thought Islam won every single round against Dustin, was outstriking him and doing really good. And I think in terms of his fight at JDM, I think he's actually a better striker than Bilal. Bilal has a sort of style where he'll just kind of walk forward with his hands, and he has decent hands, don't get me wrong. But his striking isn't that great. Like, it's not amazing. Like, you look at his striking, you're like, oh my gosh, this is a high elite level striking. JDM was tagging him up really, really bad in those rounds. In the last couple rounds, thought he was gonna finish him at some points. Bilal was just eating punches and couldn't really do anything about it. Like, he was throwing these hooks, JDM was just moving better, countering, just peppering him up with the jab and the right hook. Like, you're not gonna see Islam doing what Bilal was doing during this fight, where he was throwing spinning back fists and stuff. Islam's a way more careful striker, and he's way more precise too. He's a great boxer too. Bilal's just kind of reckless in the feet sometimes, and that led to him getting countered pretty bad against JDM. Like, Islam was able to win the fight against Volkanovski. It was a close one, don't get me wrong, but he was able to outstrike Volk, who's one of the best strikers of all time, one of the best fighters ever of all time. Islam was able to outstrike him, and that's just a fact. Islam, I think, won that fight, but it was very close, don't get me wrong. In their second fight, Islam literally knocked him out with a head kick. Like, who does that to Volkanovski? That's actually insane. Like, if you think about it, who does that to Volkanovski? Taporia had to knock him out with his boxing. I'd outbox him. Islam literally threw a head kick and knocked him out. That's crazy. I get it was on short notice, and people actually underrate this win for Islam, saying it was on short notice. That's still insane. Like that's like knocking out Topuria on short notice. That's insane. That shows really good striking. I think Islam on the feet. He's gonna do better than JDM. There might be some moments. I think where Islam's actually gonna rock JDM on the feet. Don't be surprised if Islam actually gets it better with some of the exchanges and the striking and actually manages to put it on JDM and actually hurt him. Now, in terms of the ground game, this is where things get interesting because when JDM fought Bilal, he did a fantastic job of escaping from bottom position and really defending takedowns. When he did get taken down, he was on his back for like at most a minute. He was able to get out pretty fast. But there's one big difference between Bilal, Muhammad, and Islam, and that's Bilal doesn't really have a submission threat. Like right here, JDM escapes from underneath Bilal, and he leans forward with his head like this. Bilal doesn't do anything, obviously. Like, Bilal just kind of lets him, like, slide off him, because Bilal's not a submission artist. He's a wrestler. He takes you down, and he's a smudge fighter. He'll take you down and just kind of dump you, slam you, then just kind of lay you back up and do it again. With Islam, that's completely different. We take this clip against him and Moicano fighting. He gets Moicano down. Moicano does the same thing JDM does right here, basically. And Islam just leaps on top of him, immediately looking for that choke. And when he gets a Darce choke and you're not getting out, he's like a snake with that choke. Like, the second he gets his arm around that bicep, it's over. It's done. You're not getting out. You're going to have to tap or you're going out. That's it. And this could very well happen to JDM if he's not careful. If he leaves his neck exposed, he could get caught in the Darce choke too. It's not impossible. And it very well could happen. Now, in terms of if JDM could get taken down, it could happen, but it probably won't happen very often. Like, against Bilal, he got taken down, I think, twice, which isn't bad at all. Islam's a better grappler than Bilal, in my opinion. Islam, the thing about his funny is that he works best with takedowns against the cage, like pinning up people against the cage and then just going for the takedown. JDM that's where he's his best defending takedowns. He'll get the underhooks and just push off and then really do a good job defending the takedown. I think Islam will get him down, but if he does get him down, it's gonna be pretty bad for JDM if he can't defend the submissions. But he probably won't get submitted early on. Like, I've seen people saying round 1 submission for Islam. I don't think so. Because he's working with Craig Jones and Volkanovski. Volkanovski's been in the cage of Islam and didn't get submitted. So he'll have some great advice to give JDM. And Craig Jones is a really good grappling artist. His whole thing is anti-Dagestani grappling. So JDM, I don't think he's going to get submitted early on. The key word is early on. I could see a round 4, round 5 submission where they're both exhausted and then Islam just gets lucky and goes to the choke and gets it. But in terms of my final predictions for this fight, I think it's either going to be a late submission by Islam or it's going to be a decision win for Islam. Because like, I don't think JDM knocks him out. I think it's kind of ludicrous to say that. And in terms of JDM, I don't think Islam's gonna outstrike him. That's an insane thing to say. Like earlier I said I tried to say Islam can keep up with JDM in the striking. I'm not saying he can actually outstrike him because that's not really a smart thing to do because Bilal tried to do that and got battered pretty badly. I think Islam physically can keep up with JDM. I think his cardio is gonna be pretty great because he's with Team Khabib, and I think his boxing is gonna be pretty great too. I think he's gonna be able to hurt JDM at some points. Not like hit him and then he just drops. I think he'll be able to hit him and JDM's gonna be like, whoa, he's gonna stun him a couple times. And I think Islam's grappling is really good. I think I can see submission, but my final prediction is Islam Makhachev by decision. Now, there has been talks with Topuria wanting to move up and fight at 170 if Islam wins. I think if Islam wins, Topuria's probably going to move up. We're probably going to get that fight at the White House next year, which if that does happen, I think Islam at 170, I think he beats Topuria at 170. 155 is kind of different because Topuria, he's not as like, he doesn't have a big size disadvantage. But if Topuria moves up to fight JDM, I think JDM actually destroys Topuria at 170. Topuria is way too small. He's a featherweight. Well, he's already kind of undersized for 155. I think if he fights a welterweight, that's just too. I think JDM. I'm confident saying JDM would finish Topuria if he moved up. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen because if Islam wins, I mean Topuria's probably gonna move up as well. But that's the only dude he has a chance at 170. Like Topuria versus. I think Leon Edwards beats him. Sean Brady destroys him. Freaking like I think every 170 contender would beat Topuria. I think the size difference is just too insane. But anyway, that's my prediction for JDM versus Islam. I'm in terms of who I'm rooting for Islam. But if JDM wins, I won't be too upset. JDM's a cool dude. I like JDM. He's cool. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for today. Make sure to like and subscribe and have a nice day. Thanks for watching.